Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy South Central. We in the building. Mud Life, we in the building. Hey, guys, so today we're going to be reviewing a video where there's a drag queen having a debate with Tim Pool, right? They're debating on if drag queen story time is essential, right? Is it okay to have drag queen story time? Is it not grooming? What is it, right? I think that this debate is healthy. I think that this debate is needed, and it's a beautiful conversation, right? That needs to be had. We may not agree with each other, okay? But we need to have this conversation. We need to understand why these people think the way they think, right? And what they believe they're entitled to, okay? In societies, this type of conversation is taboo. You don't have this type of conversation because we just don't agree with each other, right? So there's really no common ground. There's never a bridge between the gap, right, of understanding. So we need this conversation in society because it shows that we could have a conversation. We don't have to totally agree with each other, right? We don't have to shame each other either. I believe that debating your points proves how legit your point is, right? If you don't have nobody debating you, if you don't have anyone that opposes your point or your viewpoints, how do you know that your point is legit, right? If everyone around you disagree with you. So if you step outside your echo chamber, right, and you allow your points to be challenged, kudos to you. But in today's time, everybody wants to be heard, but nobody wants to listen. And again, this is just a great conversation. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be reviewing it with you guys. So let's get into it, guys.
And the fact of the matter is, most drag performers are not grooming children. Most drag performers, when they are engaging in Drag Queen Story Hour, there's benefits to that. The benefits of Drag Queen Story Hour, you know, kids love being read to. You know, I remember being read to as a child. I remember.
So right off the bat, guys, right? 15 seconds in, do you hear how this person is speaking? Do you hear the mindset that this person has just by the 15 seconds of talking? Drag Queen Story Hour, it makes so much sense. It's essential. Because when I was a kid, I remember I like being read to, right? I like being read to. Just from hearing 15 seconds of it, I can hear that human nature, right? We will try to justify anything that we do, even if it's wrong. Okay, we're trying to push what we do on others due to how we feel. All right, let's get back into it.
I remember sitting in the library, and I remember the librarian being a little boring and just, oh, kids, here's the story, here you go. When kids are imaginative, kids love imagination and fantasy and fun. And there is something that is...
So you hear it more, right? Kids are imaginative and they want to have fun, right? I remember being a child, right? So this person basically said, I know your child better than you. They want to have fun. They don't want no boring freaking... They don't want a boring reader. They want a transgender reader and have an imagination and think about other things while reading. No, they don't... How could you think for my child, right? Literally think about it. This person is putting themselves in your child's shoes saying that, so if I was a child, I would like this, okay? This is why it's cool. Because when I was a kid, I would think that was cool. Don't tell me how to think for my child, bro. Don't tell me what's best for my child. This is where the disconnect starts. 31 seconds in. Already a gap between understanding, okay? But listen how this person speaks without a child. They're telling you that they know your child better than you. They want to have fun. So Drag Queen Story Hour is essential because they want to have fun. They don't want no freaking boring reader. It's not about the context of the book. It's about the reader. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes people remember the book. Ridiculous, okay?
Is very imaginative and fantasy filled about drag performance, whether or not you are a cis or trans drag performer. And so children love to be...
So what's the fantasy about it? If I'm reading the ABCs, I'm not trying to perform while giving them the ABCs. I'm trying to instill the information inside of them. What the hell does that have to do with all the foolishness as far as drag and all the other stuff that you're talking about? Look at the mindset, guys. Dissect the mindset. This person is openly saying this stuff, right? And this is good because you need to hear this. You need to hear how they think about your child. Think about what they're doing, their actions, right? They don't believe that they're wrong. And this is a very informative conversation, okay? Let's get back into it.
Read to by drag performers because it's fun and it's imaginative and it's fantasy filled. And they're not even saying, okay, you have to be a drag performer, you have to be trans, you have to be LGBTQIA. And that's part of the argument that I disagree with, that LGBTQIA people, and specifically drag performers, are grooming children. We're not grooming them. We're trying to say that you are welcome to be you as you are. If you are cis, heterosexual, fabulous. If you end up being queer.
All right, so look, he's speaking as if he's talking to he's talking to adults, right? No, we're not grooming, right? Stop the word grooming. We're doing what groomers do, but it's drag. Like, it's not that serious. We're literally just saying you could be heterosexual, you could be XYZ. These kids don't know nothing about that. They shouldn't know anything about that. There's a gap in between ages because of certain information, right? That they can't understand. Okay? The brains are not fully developed. Why are you trying to instill this inside of them as a child, as if they're adults? They're not adults. But hear the logic, right? Hear this person's logic. Hear where this person is coming from, right? And it's everybody who agrees to this on the other side thinks just like this. Don't think anything wrong of it, right? Kids deserve this. They need this. Your kids, right? I don't like it. So what? Your kids need it, okay? It's not grooming. I know it's doing what grooming does, but it's not grooming. They play with words, right? Hoping that it sticks. Transgenderism thing, right? I'm a woman. But you have male genitals. What are you talking about? I'm a woman, right? I believe I'm a woman. Words. It's all words. It's not true. It's just words. As long as they play with words and change definitions, it's a fact. Not biologically, but it's a fact in their brain. Let's get back into it.
You're fabulous. We're not trying to steer you any particular way. But I remember being a queer child, and I remember.
So, sorry, I'm keep pausing, but we need to attack this. So if you're not trying to steer the children any type of way, why do you need to be in there? If you're a drag queen, why do you need to be in their face then? Why is it important for you to be around children? And if you're saying you're not trying to steer them any type of way, why are you there? Okay? If you're saying, it's literally like saying, hey, it's not what it seems. Yeah, I know what we're doing, but it's not what it seems, right? You're not getting it. You're not getting it. It's all wordplay, and it's just to get closer to your children, okay? It's all a game. But hear the logic, okay?
Not having any sort of mentor or model to look at, and I felt very othered, and I felt very different, and it actually caused a lot of mental health problems. And so when you actually introduce children to the diversity...
in order to solve this person's mental health problems, right? This is a grown adult, right? We have to sacrifice our children's minds, okay, to make this person feel better. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't have nobody look like me, so I got to create people that look like me because I had mental health issues. It caused me mental health issues. As an adult, right? That's your business. It's your job to keep your mental health in check, right? Emotion, everything is your fault, right? As an adult, it's your job, okay? Not the expense of our children, all right? This person doesn't have a right to our children's minds. But due to what this person anecdotally went through, they're saying that when I was a kid, I didn't have this experience, so I want to create this for other children who may be XYZ, but not understanding that children are not supposed to have these conversations at that age. Not supposed to be a thing, okay? And society is not, it's not okay. This is a very dangerous situation because parents are not going to just keep sitting back and saying, okay, all right, I get it. Some will, but majority won't, okay? Majority understands that it's not okay. This person is saying, I'm not grooming, but I remember as a child, I didn't have people that look like me. So what are you trying to do? Create people that look like you? That an adult now. I'm sorry. Okay, everybody went through stuff as a child that, you know, that they may deem like, oh man, this is horrible. Yeah, of course we're children at the time. Everything is horrible to us. But as an adult, it's your job to check your emotions and check your mental health. That's your job, okay? Don't impose your role on other people just because of what you went through, okay? It's not fair.
of gender identity, to the diversity of sexuality, to the diversity of everything other than the cis heteronormative family, you show kids that it's okay to be you as you are. You don't have to follow this particular guideline that is, again, defined by the patriarchy. And
you're grooming, right? You're showing kids a certain thing that they may not be, just because in your mind as an adult, you're saying, we need to push this narrative because we want them to be whatever they want to be. They don't even know what they want to be. They still want to be Power Rangers. Yeah, but sexually, you can be whatever you want to be. It's not the time for that, bro. Right? I'm the bearer of that. I am in control of my child's mind, right? I pick and choose what I deem priority in my children's mind because I'm the father. I am the adult, right, in my child's life. I am the provider. I have the responsibility of my. Who are you to tell me what's essential to my child, especially their minds and what they need to be open to? It's not your job, bro. You're overstepping boundaries, and this is where the disconnect starts because they say that, hey, man, everybody's picking on us. We're a marginalized group. No. You're asking to be picked on because nobody's checking for you. Nobody cares that you're gay or doing whatever you want to do in your bedroom. Nobody cares, bro. Live your life, right? But when you start attacking children, or you don't call it attack, right? You reword it. You call it being friendly and trying to, open up the door for certain things. No, we don't want that. Okay? It's simple. People are literally telling you what's wrong and what's gonna cause conflict when you keep banging at the door and trying to explain yourself when we don't care. Certain things are just not going to be accepted. Okay? I don't care how you feel. Your feelings does not override everybody else's goals and their culture, right? This is how selfish this community is. It's about them. It's all about them. No, we need to create people that's more open-minded because I went through this. Who cares? Who cares what you went through, bro? As an adult, who cares? Okay? There's a lot of people that go through things in life, but they get the bad end of the stick. But that don't mean that, hey, I'm gonna force you to change your mindset because I went through this as a child. Okay? Doesn't change the price of tea in China, bro. Okay? Stay away from kids, bro. It's that simple. We're not checking for you. We're not bothering you. Just leave our kids alone.
You can be whoever you are, and you're welcome to be who you are. I'm not saying you must be trans, you must be a drag performer. But if you end up being that when you grow up, great. And I remember not having that sort of influence. And I remember the impact that it had on my mental health as a queer youth in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, not seeing anybody that was like me anywhere in society.
So here, the conversation, they're literally telling on themselves. Okay? I remember a kid, or as a whatever youth, that I didn't have that around me. I didn't have this type of influence around me. So you're creating that next generation because you think that it was hard for you. You're literally grooming the next people. So you're like, hey man, if anybody come out, it's gonna be okay, right? You're grooming the next generation to accept it, right? But what about culture? What about things that play into what you're doing? What if people just don't agree with that? What if people just don't like that, right? As far as parents, they don't want that instilled inside the child. Okay? That information is not wanted here. Stop trying to put that in people. Stop trying to put that in children's mind, thinking that you're trying to help when you're not. You're not helping. You're only trying to help yourself. It's a very egocentric type of way of thinking. Hey, I had this in my life, so yeah, people need to be more accepting. Yeah, people need to be more accepting. I'm going to force it at the expense of your child. As one human being on this earth, your mental health does not supersede the minds of our children, bro. Nobody cares when it comes to that, bro. You're one person, walk away, bro. What are y'all, like 1%? Okay? You can't save everybody, bro, but you're implying with your mindset, it's not helping me. It's not helping my child either. It's helping you, okay? You don't rule the world, bro. Life is not more important than my life and my child's life, right? We're equal when it comes to being human being, okay? Not everything's gonna be accepted. It's that simple. I'm sorry. It's just not everything gonna be accepted. You can't force acceptance in people's life, bro. The more you try to force it, the more they become repulsed to it.
Society. And it made me fearful to be who I am.
Are you familiar with Desmond is Amazing?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts? I'll ask some questions, but I just want to let you open up.
Yeah, I don't know Desmond. I have seen Desmond online. I know that they are a queer youth who wanted to engage in drag, and I think that's perfectly okay. I don't think that Desmond's parents are behind the scenes saying, you have to be a drag performer. We're trying to groom you to be trans. There is actually no benefit to it because queer people and trans people are overwhelmingly ostracized in the society that we live in, that I don't think that a person who didn't want to engage in that would choose to engage in that knowing the kind.
False. That type of mindset nowadays is trendy. It's okay to be this. The grooming inside society is saying that you have to be something. They're trying to make it to where it's not okay to be straight. What are you? What do you identify as? This didn't even used to be a question, right? You cannot say that in today's generation that doesn't play a part in it. Like it doesn't exist. No. His parents are not grooming him. You know, nobody's telling him nothing. It's just he just grew up and thought like this. It's literally like gaslighting. You know damn well, bro. Something's going on. No kid just wakes up and say, hey, I want to be this. In some way he's seen it, right? There's a big culture, especially now, right, that influences this type of behavior. All right, it's that simple. You can't just say that it's uninfluenced behavior. It just happened. I'm sure it's ridiculous, bro, when logic no longer matters.
Kind of ostracism and criticism and hatred that would come to follow. The things that I've read about this child are disgusting. And that's so much more horrific than this person saying, I want to put on a skirt and a wig and perform.
You're familiar with go-go dancing, I assume?
Yeah.
So viewpoint of it supersedes everybody else's viewpoint of it, right? That's literally what this person is saying. Well, I view it as this, so it has to be this. I view it as it's just a person put on the skirt doing drag, whatever, and everybody else view it as like, hey, bro, this is crazy. What the hell is a child doing in this type of environment? What is this kid doing? It's just drag. Like, I know. It's like usually it would be called stripping, you know, or doing adult activity, but it's drag, so anybody could partake in it. Sickening. It's very sickening.
And bikini bars.
Sure, yeah.
In many states, what they define as stripping is the removal of any clothing on stage with no nudity. The act of removing clothing is the stripping of clothing.
So, Tim, this is stripping?
If you were on stage for a bunch of adults...
I'm on stage for a bunch of adults right now.
Offering you money for the explicit purpose of seeing you remove clothing, this is where you have, context matters, right? Like, yeah. I think...
But I think I get where you're going at, Tim, but here's the thing. Drag performers, like...
Let's just keep moving the goalposts, man. So what about the money thing? Yeah, I get where you're going, but let's go here. No. This person tried to debate the point by saying, look, am I stripping? I'm in front of a whole bunch of people, right? Yeah, you're stripping off a piece of clothes. So what about the money aspect? Oh, I get where you're going, but let's move here. It's always moving the goalposts. They don't want to understand. They just want to be understood. Does that make sense? They don't want to understand. They just want to be understood. So I'm not listening. Listen to me, though. That's not what you see. I'm going to tell you what you see. No, I know what I saw. Don't tell me what I saw. I don't need your input in telling me what just happened. I know what just happened, right? My logical thinking as an adult, I know what just happened here. No, let me tell you what you just saw. That's basically what this is.
There is the reveal of drag. I think that a lot of people just aren't familiar with drag culture. And there is this idea of performing where there's a reveal. And that doesn't mean stripping down and being sexual. Taking off a garment to show an undergarment does not mean that it is stripping or being sexual.
So we
just gonna keep moving the goalposts, man. We just gonna keep moving the goalposts, man. You strip off some clothes and then you get money and you get money thrown at you. It's just a reveal. It's not stripping. It's just a reveal. It's drag. What you're not understanding is that it's drag. I know it looks just like it, but it's drag. Sickening, bro.
But it might be the state. But there's a bunch of states. Women aren't allowed to be fully nude on stage. So they have what they call bikini bars or go-go bars. The women will go on stage and do what is in every way identical to what Desmond does on stage here, removing an outer layer of clothing in exchange for money from the audience. Desmond is a child in this. I could be wrong. It's been several years. This is 2019. My understanding was that this was an adult bar full of adult males watching the child perform on stage and do things that many have argued were sexually suggestive, especially in the Gwen Stefani portion of this, and then in exchange for money. So for many people who live, and we can just say perhaps in a more conservative area, this is indistinguishable from stripping. So this is an 11-year-old doing the same things bikini dancers do for money.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's indistinguishable from stripping. You know, I, as a drag performer, I've been performing for 8 years now. And I will go out there and I might come out in something like this where I'm wearing a blazer and I perform and I take it off and people will cheer and give me money. Are they cheering and giving me money because I'm stripping and turning them on? No, it is entertainment and it's a performance and it's a part of queer art. I don't think that this
So
child...
what are you entertaining then? Are you taking your garments off in the office at work just because it's hot? Or are you trying to provoke certain things from the crowd? What are you trying to do? It's not as innocent as you're trying to make it, bro. You know what you're doing, but you got to play these mental games in order to push an agenda. I have to deflate from the argument that it's stripping. I have to move the goalpost. Need your acceptance, right? I'm never going to totally admit what it is, because if I do that, you're repulsed by it. Society will never accept a child doing that. But for the community, their community, they have to move the goalposts to get what they want in society. They have to. It's essential to their argument. I have to move the goalposts. What you just seen is not what you just seen. I seen drag, right? That's the culture. It's okay to do that. It's not a big deal. In society, it's not okay for a kid to go to a strip club and get on that pole and remove some type of clothing and just say, you know, hey man, this stripping is the culture. You know, it's never been okay, bro. It's never been okay, and there's no excuses for it. All right.
I don't think that they're trying to be sexual. I don't even think that the parents are trying to sexualize the person. I think that this is a kid who has seen drag culture, knows that they're queer, and wants to engage in it in a way that is age appropriate. Did that child get naked on stage? I don't.
Okay, so think about the age appropriation part, right? This person is literally telling you who he is. Back into it. This person just said that they're not getting naked. So is the cap? What are we not willing to accept? When are we going to agree with, hey bro, that's too much? When are we going to agree with hey bro, that's too much, bro? What are you doing? It's getting out of hand, guys.
Think so.
Bikini dancers don't get naked either.
Yeah.
So that's the issue.
Yeah, but also there's a difference between standing up on a box and go-go dancing, you know, thrusting yourself out there for very obvious sexual intentions versus somebody who is just doing a drag performance. And I think that's something that really bothers me, is that people equate drag performances with strippers and with adult entertainment. Drag performances are actually all ages, but there are specific performances that are
age appropriate, but drag is all ages. Bro, oh god, Lee, bro, you stretching this shit so fucking bad, bro. This man is stretching this shit so, bro. What are you, bro? Just be honest, bro. Stop playing with people in society, trying to make it as innocent as it is because you want to push an agenda. Well, what's your agenda? What's your point of this, bro? You keep moving the goalpost, pushing it back more and more and more. What do you want? When does it stop? When does it stop at? No, drag is just, I know it looks like you're stripping, but it's just drag, man. So what is it, bro? Like, what are you trying to, when you doing things, right? We do things with intentions. We have intentions to do things. Nothing is just, humans, right? Nothing is just, I just did it, I don't know why. No. It's very intentful. What's the intent behind what you're doing? What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to do? Be honest. Stop sitting here playing with people and lollygagging. We don't want to hear that. Be honest about your intent when you're trying to argue these points, because at this point it's not making sense, bro. And nothing you could tell me that is going to make it make sense. Stop trying to move the goalpost, bro. Stop. Because at this point you're playing with parents, okay? It's only so much people are going to take that don't agree with this, okay? And it's the majority of America. Only a few I don't even think it's like, 5% who agree with it or do things like this, that of the population. So you're playing with people's minds and children, right? You're coming up with these false pretenses of everything's innocent. There's nothing, no intent behind it. It's just drag. You bring in an argument to people who don't agree with something, come with some type of, you gotta come with better arguments than that shit, bro, because it don't make sense what you're saying, right? Because we're really trying to figure out how we gonna label this situation, okay? We hearing you out. We gave you that open ear. But bro, you playing too much. Like, come correct. Tell me what it is. Stop cutting corners. We don't do that here. Tell me what it is, bro. What you trying to do? I heard you out, right? I'm trying to be understanding, but this stuff is unbearable to where it's like, bro, I can't understand you when you keep flip-flopping, bro. What is it? Is it stripping? Because in society, that's known as stripping. You taking off pieces of clothing, the crowd is throwing money at you. In every which way in society, that has always been known as stripping. Why are you trying to play with people's emotions, right? Now you saying we created something new on the pretense of it just came up. Yeah, it looked like stripping. There's no correlation between stripping and drag. It's just different.
For, say, Drag Queen Story Hour versus a nightclub?
When it comes to this, I don't know if... See, I was kind of like this kid on the opposite direction. I got into Little League because I was groomed and felt pressure to make my parents happy.
Hello, I can agree with that.
So I went.
Okay, so since you're agreeing with that, you could agree with that. You can agree to adults grooming kids to do things that adults want them to do. But you don't believe grooming occurred when that kid dressed up in drag and got on that stage and did what adults do, right? That's the parents would never groom them to do that, right? Because it's a marginalized group and all the other stuff, which I disagree with. Yeah, the goalposts keep me. Grooming could occur only for, something as innocent as baseball, but for drag, nah, nobody would ever groom the kid to do that.
Little League, when I really wanted to, I was really a gay kid. In my day, we didn't use queer. Queer was a slur. I'm 53 years old, so I'm a little old, from a different generation. So queer was an offensive thing to call people, and as far as like influences, gay influences, I grew up. Now this is in the 80s. I grew up across the street from two moms. I think a lot of this tolerance that they're trying to thrust on the public starts at the home, and it's like these kids come from tolerant homes, and so
but what about the kids that don't come from tolerant homes?
Well, I don't think those are the kids that are being read to.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I disagree. I know that in certain aspects as far as school, they're teaching these kids that without the parents knowing. That's why you're seeing all the revolts inside just council meetings, whatever. Parents are reading these books that they didn't know that they had in these schools. So that's not true. They're kind of forcing this agenda onto children while the parents are not knowing, right? They're not coming home talking about that. They're even telling kids to not tell their parents about what's going on in school. And as a parent, you can't say anything about those type of activities inside of school because by saying, hey, that's not accepted. I also think that we don't have to tolerate anything. We don't have to tolerate everything, okay? Not everybody gonna be accepted. I'm sorry, not everybody gonna make it to the acceptance group. It's that simple. Oh, you don't have a right to just say, hey, that's not happening in kids. That's not tolerated, what I'm saying, inside their families. Yeah, not everything gonna be tolerated, man, due to religion, culture, all type of things, right? But you're not gonna be able to make it into everybody's home. You also don't have a right to talk to everybody's kids. It's not your right. As an adult, it's not your right, okay? As a person that doesn't have children, you want to talk to everybody else's children. It says a lot about you, bro.
But that's the thing. There are queer children being raised in homes that are intolerant. Mm-hmm. I myself grew up in a home where my parents became much more tolerant when they realized that I was a queer person. And there was a lot of hesitation and objection at first. And that was based off of what they had learned growing up. And so we're perpetuating this culture of gay is weird. LGBTQIA is, that's other. You don't know. Don't engage in that. That's adult content.
We, as a society, have a right to tell our kids that is weird, that is unacceptable. You don't like it. It's not welcomed in this home. You have a right to do that. You literally have a right to do that. Why are you so what don't you get about that? We don't have to conform to your ideology, bro, just because you feel in some type of way. You want everybody to bend the knee because, hey man, yeah, y'all been getting these big corporations to do what y'all want to do what y'all want them to do, but y'all think that everybody else need to play along. Everybody else need to get on board. Okay? No. No. It's not happening.
There's something wrong with that. I wish I had grown up in a school environment where I had adults and other people around me saying it's okay to be who you are.
Mm-hmm. I think
So what this person is saying is that I wish it was more people like me, so I'm gonna create more people like me. It's that simple. Okay, I'm gonna groom the kids. I'm gonna make sure that they're gonna be accepting to whatever the parents are not accepting to. Okay, make sure that their culture don't play a big part in their life. That their religion that plays a big part in life don't identify with religion. I want them to identify with what I'm saying. Okay, cause it's liberal. Okay, and it's okay. I'm not the parent, but it's okay. You have to conform to this. I'm okay with that. Outside of not being that child's parent. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I guess, because like I said, I grew up in an earlier time, and I did not have your experience at all. My experience came from other kids. I don't know can I say faggot on here? I was called a faggot every day of my life. I was called a faggot, and I was still myself, and I don't know, and I think that's what we need to be teaching kids is not for me to tolerate something that you do, but for you to be able to take my opinion and just say, okay, and still be you.
But that's the reason.
Right. So the thing with this is this, bro. I hate when, right, and he's not being a victim, but I hate when people are victims, right? In society, kids talk about other kids, no matter if they're gay or whatever the hell they look like. You tall and linky and you look like Goofy, bro. You're gonna get called Goofy, bro. If you're short and black, whatever, Oompa Loompa, whatever the hell. If you too dark, you from Africa, bro. Even if you're not from Africa, they make these little stupid sounds. Everybody grew up with something, bro. You can't take that outside of the experience of being a child. It is what it is, bro. You can't teach kids to don't say anything, right? Don't ever say nothing bad, just say everything nice. It's very impossible. It doesn't work that way, okay? Everybody went through something. That's a part of being a human, right? Nobody lives a life of not being judged ever. It just doesn't work that way. Somebody's not going to agree with half the shit you do, bro. That's how life is. What you going to do? Shame them into accepting what you did? Like, bro, that's fighting a downhill battle, bro. You are responsible for your emotions, okay? You're responsible for your responses of what people say to you outside of what they say to you, because people going to say whatever they're going to say. That's just life, right? Okay? I don't feel sorry for anyone because we all went through it. Go up here and shit boots and keep walking, bro. It's that simple. That's life. You're going to take those experiences out of life by forcing people to be liberal and acceptance to everything, to everybody's lifestyle, okay? Everything goes. No, it's not going to work, okay? It's not going to happen. It's not.
The reason that doesn't happen is because queer kids are growing up in environments that are not necessarily queer. And when you ban any sort of LGBTQIA education from school levels until you get to high school, that's where you breed people who fear and who other...
No, so basically you want to get them while they're young. We're not grooming. We're just trying to get them while they're young, because by the time they turn the age and they get into high school, that gay is not acceptable, right? They probably not even thinking about gay stuff. They thinking about heterosexual stuff. We want to instill that in them because we want to create more like me. That's what I'm getting from this, guys. I would think that if you gonna teach this, I don't agree with it at all. I don't think you should teach. I think the parents should have sole responsibility to teach your kids whatever they want to teach them. But if you're gonna teach this, right, I would think the perfect time to teach this would be high school, senior year, right? Where people could break down information and understand, okay, that's bullshit. I don't like this, this person has an agenda, right? Fully, not fully developed, but you got discernment, okay? I've seen this before, okay? I know what this person's trying to do mentally, okay? Not everybody gonna get it, but some people are. What I'm saying is that this person is saying that it's not grooming, but you want to get them while they're young, okay? You're saying it without saying it, okay? But people could see through the lines. Right? We can see through this. And this is why people are being outraged, because we know what you're doing. You can call it whatever you want to call it. We call it grooming. It's always been grooming, okay? We don't want you talking to our children about this just because of your selfish desires. You want to create more like you, okay? That might not be everybody else's agenda. And it's that simple. Let's get back into it, guys.
Folks who are LGBTQIA, the reason that you were called a faggot, the reason I was called a faggot was because those other kids grew up in environments where they heard their parents calling other people faggot.
No, because kids call kids names. You're taking it personal because you're being a victim. Kids call kids names. It happens. You can't, like I said, stop being so emotional and think logical. It happened to everybody. What makes your experiences? Why is it always about you? It's a very egocentric way of thinking. And I think that they think they deserve to control the minds of your children. No, I know that. The way this person talking, they believe that they're entitled. This person believes that he's entitled to your child's mind, okay? It's essential. It needs to be done because we need to create more spaces, right? Little pockets in society to where if a kid comes out as queer, right? If he's so programmed to think about that and he says, Mom, Dad, I think I'm this. And Dad says, hey, bro, like, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? You ain't supposed to think about that. You ain't supposed to be thinking like that. You need people to affirm that. You got spaces to say adults. You got spaces of adults saying, yeah, queer, yeah, it means this. Yeah. I'm happy you came out and said that. Come to this space now. I know your parents don't like that, but hey, you always have a space here. Literally grooming. Okay, that's what it is.
Faggots.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to let folks and let kids today in this generation know that it is okay to be queer. It's okay to be LGBTQIA. And again, there's nothing inherently sexual about being LGBTQIA, just in the same way that there's nothing inherently sexual about being cis heteronormative. And there is a connection.
Oh, you see, there it goes, moving the goalposts. All right. If I am if I am gay, right, I'm sexually attracted to the same sex. Right? If I'm heterosexual, I'm sexually attracted to opposite sex. Let's play into that. This is why people say don't up in school, period. Because you're being very specific about what you're sexually aroused by saying, hey, I'm gay, I'm this, I'm that, LGBTQ, whatever. It's very, very direct, okay? You can't wordplay that. And you can't. You're basically saying what you're sexually aroused to, right? I.e. sexuality. You can't say, well, it doesn't correlate. It's just, you know what I'm saying, what you identify as. So this is just an identity. You can just say I'm gay, but I'm not sexually aroused to anything. I'm just gay. That's mind blowing, okay?
In there, of course, according to who you love and who eventually you have sex with.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we're trying to teach kids about explicit sex.
I got it.
Wow. Oh my God, dude. This person's just he's unbearable, bro. He's unbearable. He wants you to hear him, right? He don't want to hear you. He wants to be understood. He doesn't want to understand. They need to be the only ones talking in the room, because without that, they're being challenged, right? And then they didn't know. The thought process don't make any sense, okay? But what they need is people to affirm, right? They need people around them to say, you are right. No matter what, you're right, okay? They need people who think like them. Because without that, these arguments won't stand the test of time, because it doesn't make any sense. And you keep moving the goalposts because you want to push an agenda. And I see what you're doing, okay? We see what you're doing. We're adults, mindfully developed. I can read between the lines, okay? I'm trying to sneak this agenda in. We're trying to say, bro, we're being marginalized. No, you're not being marginalized. We don't care about you. Just leave our kids alone. Oh, no, but if you have a problem with leaving kids alone, you need to get mentally checked out.
Completely disagree. We have these two books here. Genderqueer less so. This book is Gay more so. Explicitly teach about overt sexual acts, depicting them, and were provided to children sometimes as young as age of 10.
Tim, let me ask you, when you say children, what do you mean by children? Because children could be 0 to 18.
Oh my God.
What do you mean by children?
So here we go again. See, they keep using the spectrum. Dude, you know what children is. Moving the goalposts because they need to push this agenda, right? I need to get them as young as I can. But I need to push the goalposts and see I need to play with words to get people to tolerate degeneracy. I need you to tolerate it. All I need you to do is just tolerate it. Think about it. That's all I need you to do. You know what a child is. You know what it is. Why is this even a question? See, when you start questioning what is a woman, when a woman was a woman before Babylon, we already knew what women was. BC, before Christ, we knew what a woman was. Now you start questioning what a woman is, right? Now, what is a child? What's a child? The person is literally telling you what they are. That's why these conversations are very important. They tell you who they are. Just listen to them.
Children.
So this was 10-year-old. This is middle schoolers. This book is gay specifically was given to...
You don't think that middle schoolers who are starting to go through puberty and who are starting to have sexual intercourse and starting to experiment with sexuality, you don't think that any of them are queer and might need...
So 10 years old. No, if a kid is 10 years old and he's talking about sexual things and he's giving sexual books or whatever, you need to go to their homes. Their house needs to be rated, okay? This is the last week on Watch It. You have 17 seconds left. 10 is this, bro. What I got from this is this. I have a very egocentric mindset, right? They went through what they went through, and they want to create spaces for that type of activity, right? For children, because they're living through your child. Oh, well, when I was a kid, I didn't have that, so I want to create this. It's not even the children. They want to do it with your child, though. You might not believe it, but it's essential because kids bully. Kids call names. How do you stop calling names? First, stop a kid from calling names, bro. If it's not the F word, it's something else. You got a big nose. You got a big ass nose. Oh, how do I stop them from talking about a big nose? So start as a young kid and tell them, hey man, no big nose jokes, guys. You can't put pillows all over the world, bro. You can't. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm sorry. They're coming after your children, bro, and they think that they have the right to do any means necessary. They have the right to do because of their life. What they experience through life, right? Which everybody experiences some type of hardship, but that's a part of life. It's an agenda being pushed. But you have to protect your children at all costs. You gotta protect their minds, their actions. You gotta protect their soul, bro. Because this is a fight between good and evil. I would love to give you guys a heads up on the movie Sound of Freedom. You guys should go see it. Okay? We need to understand what's going on around us outside of our lives. We tend to forget what's going on around us. It's happening before your eyes. We must protect children. It's essential. It has to happen. It's not an argument. It's not debatable. We have people among us who justify degeneracy, evilness. Okay? We as adults, we have the burden of protecting children. It has to happen. Okay? Do your due diligence, man, and watch the movie. They share it. See what you get from it.
We be really politicking while we whipping in the kitchen. God be my witness. At the age of 15, I was fighting my fitness. Mud life